Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon by speaking about their movies, programs, shows, whatever, guys. And yeah, so I'll be responding to an article, I guess you can say, which I've done before many times. So I guess it wouldn't hurt, I guess you can say. So I'll bring up a film, yeah, this one right here, folks, which I already reviewed a while back. But honestly, like I said multiple times before, I didn't think it was all that great, really. I mean, it's not the worst by any means, but it wasn't great either. But I just figured I'd bring this up since, yes, I could use it in some ways as an excuse to talk about a princess movie, which this is. And I know this was Disney's modern attempt to make it more diverse. They failed at it in some ways, but whatever. But it's more reference in the this article, like some sort of globalist, eerie message or whatever. Oh, are you kidding me? As if it was trying to push some sort of agenda. This kind of a thing. That's not what the movie's doing, but okay. So yes, of course, this is my video defending the movie. And yes, this movie was actually went to the streaming service because of the COVID-19. But this the article is suggesting, was this film written before the COVID-19 crisis with some sort of foresight, or was it adjusted to present the narrative that insists that the world must unite against the invincible enemy or we are doomed? Invincible enemy being the coronavirus, and the article attempts to vaguely describe the evidence. Whoever the author of this article gets it all wrong and trying to use the fact that it takes place somewhere in Asia, South Asia to be more Southeast Asia to be more exact here, and and the fact that they will be wearing some type of clothing, the fact that hatred, disliking each other, and teaming up with each other, and getting together to fight a stronger enemy and setting aside our differences as if it was some sort of allegory for that, as if that was some proof to support what this individual was saying. And there's something about symbols and whatnot. No, no. I mean, I'll go more to it in just a moment, but wow, that's not what the movie's doing at all. So yes, I'm defending the movie, even though I didn't like it all that much at all. But yeah, folks, I mean, it was poorly written in a lot of ways, sure, but even then, I already knew that's not what the movie is doing, like at all whatsoever. It's not supposed to be some sort of metaphor where human beings have to get along and team up to fight a coronavirus. That's not what this princess movie is about, like at all whatsoever. Uh, but yeah, folks, I'll pinpoint certain aspect as I read bits and pieces of the article itself, and I'll make a remark on some things, of course, and just wow, just that's not what the movie was doing. Again, not no 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 no. I mean, it's terrible that a lot of people died. It's unfortunate, yes, a lot of people had died because of COVID-19 and whatnot. Don't get me wrong, folks. That's terrible. That's awful. That that had occurred, of course. So it's unfortunate. Yes, many people lost their lives, and I mean, yes, okay, there are people who refuse to do the proper steps to actually take care of themselves to prevent things from spreading. But you know, people are acting like dickheads and making the situation worse. That's awful. Yes, there's people that are really ignorant in a lot of ways. Unfortunately, that is a reality where people don't listen, as it is a fact. This virus does exist. There's many people who are definitely denying this virus. But this article, I'm about to go into a bit more, does recognize that this is real. So at least it was that this article is in fact saying that virus is real. It's not denying the virus. So I guess that's a good thing there. But it still gets it wrong. It still gets the movie wrong. It's bringing some aspects of the movie, but still gets it wrong. So it's just taking bits and pieces of what the movie is doing and trying to put its own, whoever the individual is, trying to put their own uh, thing into projecting. Yeah, that's the proper word. It's the individual is projecting into a thing that does an uh, anti COVID-19 thing, which it doesn't do that. I mean, yes, COVID-19 is bad. Yes, I will definitely admit that COVID-19 is really bad. Of course, uh, I mean, okay, that's way looking too much into it for one. That's not what the movie's trying to do. I mean, a lot of movies suffered because of the pandemic, unfortunately. And I mean, of course, Warner Brothers, any other studio you can think of was affected by this, not just Disney. But yeah, the thing is that this article was written back in March 11th, 2021. So I guess it's somewhat recent. I guess kind of, sort of. I should just say that this film, The Last Dragon, Disney's full-length animated feature, looks in many ways as if it was a liberal propaganda dream come true, which again is a lie. But it's set in somewhere in Asia. Of course, it's the tale of this lone warrior princess whom is on a mission to find the last dragon, who alone can save the entire world from its evil enemy. I mean, no, this article is oversimplifying the film because there's actually a bit more to that. There's a whole bit where the main character basically has to live on her own, considering the fact her father was turned into stone and when she was like really young. The film never explains how she was able to take care of herself, so there's a bit of a plot hole. Like how people can be really depressed, stressed out, and may lash out against a former friend, like you used to get along with each other, but now you're both of your enemies, which yes does play into the film and whatnot. Former friends turning against each other and trying to use that as a way that there may be some truth to it, to the person's claim. When it comes to like these cloud things, these like these kinds of smoke like things that's in the film, these monsters, these cloud shaped monsters or whatever. I mean, I guess you call those smog. Well, yeah, exhaust looking monster like things that have to be defeated or whatever. And trying to use that as if it was like some sort of metaphor or whatever, as if the film is trying to indicate something to do with the coronavirus, which is not what they're trying to do. Obviously, not whatsoever, like at all. But this of course is not this is what they're trying to aim for, like at all whatsoever. In the article, Christianity is mentioned, of course, as a way to talk about good and evil, how good must triumph over everything bad, like Satan and his minions or whatever. And yeah, of course, trying to interject some religious stuff in here because I don't know. Okay, what does Jesus Christ and all that have to do with this movie? I don't know. I have no idea. Christianity is brought for some reason. And also, speaking of being random, yeah, the Magnificent Mistress of Evil is also brought up as well, which the article, whoever the author is, finds disturbing because basically the first part and second part of these movies basically centers around the idea that there's a fallen angel or whatever, a bad person turning good, and that's disturbing somehow. What? How is that disturbing? She was a bad person turned good or whatever. It happens, you know. And this movie kind of does the same thing in some ways. A good person, okay, I should say a bad person turned good, but maybe it is still kind of good. Maybe it's but kind of bad. That's a reference to this character right here, folks, because they used to be friends. The main character and her, but turned bad, but then kind of good at the same time or whatever. But yeah, then as the film does struggle to uh, come up with the idea that not everybody could be trusted because of this character here. This blue hair lady character is Actually, a dragon transforms, shapeshifts or whatever. And she explains that everybody can be trusted. They're just in a bad mood. They're just having a bad day, which is bad writing on the film's part because life is not that easy. Life is not that simple. I wish it was, but it really wasn't. That's really unrealistic. Just like this article here. But yeah, folks. But yeah, just this movie. The movie does bring up the music and self-sacrifice in nature and whatnot. The source of good and peace and whatnot. But so and the film does a pretty poor job on what's trying to have a moral thing or whatever, I guess. But the article goes on to explain something about indoctrination. I don't know what indoctrination this article is referring to, but okay. But the article goes on to say the choice of a female main character without a love interest, what maybe aside from a friendship, and that's it. But that seems to be one of the main themes over here. A female character find of basically what the article is trying to suggest is that somebody feminine going after someone that's more masculine. And yes, to be fair, the character, yes, the villain type character is way more masculine than the main character, who appears to be way more feminine. Okay, okay. What does that have to do with anything? The article is trying to suggest, or at least I think it's suggesting, like the movie's trying to say something about how women should look. And so is the article trying to suggest that this movie is sexist? I don't know. It's not making anything clear. Like, oh, not really. It's poorly written. I mean, yes, there's even men out there that look feminine. Not that there's anything wrong with that, obviously. You know, to each their own. As long as you're happy and you're comfortable with yourself, who gives a shit? This is not by no means as a way to take a jab towards gender roles. Or redefine gender roles, I should say. It's not a means trying to take jabs at what makes a woman, a man, and a man. It's not trying to do that. Yes, men looking all kinds of girly and feminine or whatever. I know because they feel like it, of course, because they want to, and that's fine. Some people make a good chunk of money off of that. This kind of behavior exists. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's even really masculine looking women. I mean, some people find that sexy. I mean, it's not for me, if I'm gonna be honest with you, but to each their own. Does this mean that they're trying to destroy the idea of what makes a woman, and what makes man a man? No, of course not. Of course not. That hasn't. No, I still don't. I'm not sure what the article is getting at here exactly. I'm confused, really. I'm really confused by the entire thing. So it does go into what I was asking earlier, like way before. Was this film written before the pandemic crisis? Or was just with the sense of incredible foresight, or was it adjusted to fit the present narrative that insists the world must unite against the invisible enemy or else be doomed? Whichever way each I guess either way, according to the article, the end result is the promotion of being globalism. Man must unite and abolish the frontiers in order to save themselves and the planet. And okay, I don't get that. What is this article applying exactly? Um, you realize the main character is a woman, right? The main character is a woman trying to do what's right for the whole family. And I know this. I know to keep bringing up the article keep bringing up this weird smoky creature things that plague throughout the entire film. That like some sort of virus according to the article. The original sin, yeah, from the Bible is brought up. Again, what does any of this have to do with anything? I don't know. But according to this article I keep referring to, original sin is also presented in a deformed way. I don't know how, but okay. With the story in the article, as it reads, did a story about peace and harmony being lost because humans turn into dragons or something. Okay, what? Why is race an issue here? Why is race being brought up in this article? I mean, okay, yes, the Walt Disney when he was alive, not Walt Disney the company, Walt Disney himself, the person, was accused of being anti-Semitic, which of course is a lie, because he was apparently being a sympathizer towards the Nazis, even though he actually fought against that kind of thing. Maybe not in person, of course, but he found ways to fight to support the American troops to fight against Hitler and all that when he was around. Is the article trying to say that the movie itself is racist? Trying to link up the coronavirus to this? Uh, Being racist towards Asians? Okay, of course, people use it as a way to discriminate against Chinese, which they shouldn't. But what does this have to do with anything, really? I don't know. But the thing is that maybe the article is trying to act as if, but the author of the article, not the article itself, of course, but the individual who wrote the article, trying to make it as if like, oh, Christians aren't hateful. Oh, Christians don't hate nobody. Oh, Christians would accept everyone regardless of your skin color, regardless of your ethnic background, yada yada yada. Because Christians can never do no wrong, which we all know it's complete lie. Because they can. Again, what does any of this have to do with anything? I don't know. I don't know. The whole original sin is brought up again because of this smoke. Yeah, these smoke creatures that move around. These smoke creatures have a conscience. Uh, Apparently that's supposed to be the original sin or something. I don't know. That's turning dragons and men into statues of stone in a blink of an eye and whatnot. Whatever. And so there's some sort of uh, elemental element in this, I guess. Something about the environment. I make a statement about the environment or whatever. What does that mean? You mean like it did with Godzilla vs. Hedra or Godzilla vs. Smog Monster? You mean like some? You mean like something like that? Is that what you're talking about? I don't get it. I might buy a toy for based on this movie just out of spite. I might just do that. Yeah. Anyway, back to this movie. Well, okay, the article talking about this movie. The article brings up this fact. Well, the person who made it anyway. As for the Chinese element, as underscore by somebody. This article makes a reference to another article as this other thing. The person who was making this article as a reference to the fact as the main character, is supposed to be a princess and doesn't have a male love interest like many other princesses. Rather, her sole mission is to save her kingdom. The main thing here is that throughout her journeys to fight against the bad guy, the princess from the other princess from the Outer Kingdom, the push and pull of these two characters was supposed to be representing the consequences of women settling down, settling down in divisions instead of uniting the greater good. As this article making a reference to another article, and I still don't know what this has to be plagued with the COVID-19 really, but and so okay, but anyway, apparently this is a timely film that encourages the global reflection on what it means to unite for the greater good. Just in the last year, the world will not be only plagued by COVID-19, but also highlighted by the anti-Asian hatred and whatnot. It's been all over. But I mean, that's not the movie's fault by any means. Okay, but the article refers to the other article I just got to mentioning. The strong themes of trust and unity in the film. I mean, yeah, it's there. I do think it's poorly written. But anyway, as this thing was saying, couldn't have come at a better time. Asian Americans. By the way, folks, this article is referring to another article that was written by a Chinese student, just so you know. But okay, as I was saying, Asian Americans have been facing greater levels of racism, unfortunately, since the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus, to which some has stated like the Donald Trump called the virus the common flu or the Chinese virus, which yes, okay, which is really arrogant and really ignorant for former President Trump to say. That's terrible, of course. But anyway, the hate crimes in the article that the article is referring to goes on to say that hate crimes that have been motivated by the anti-Asian individuals jumped quite a bit in places like New York City and whatnot, despite an attacks has been led to creation, uh, yeah, some sort of task force from the New York Police Department, Asian Hate Crime Task Force, whatever you want to call it, and whatnot. So yeah, have some sort of response to it or whatever. I mean, okay, yes, that is terrible that people get discriminated against because of this. Yeah, it's awful. It's terrible, yes. But what does this have to do with the movie? I'm trying to figure out what does this have to do with the movie? I'm so confused. I mean, okay, what? That's what you got from this? Her? She's supposed to be personification of China. I mean, I know it took place in somewhere in Asia, Southeast Asia, I believe, if I remember correctly. But I don't think that's what the movie's doing, really. That's like saying this Mexican-inspired French's character is supposed to be a representation for all of Hispanic culture, but that seems, I mean, that's incorrect because that's not what they're trying to do. I mean, sure, even though make a character that's inspired by a specific culture and be a representative of a specific culture, but you can't use that character and be like, oh, that's supposed to be all those cultures of all Asia or all Hispanic cultures, because there's a lot more cultures to be launching over. So that's what this article is trying to suggest. Like, it's the main character is supposed to be a representation of China. You realize those other cultures, and that's not exactly what they're trying to do exactly per se. There's plenty of other Asian cultures out there, like South Korea, the Philippines, yes, even Indian, not native Indians, obviously, but also Japan, and there's like a bunch of other stuff a bit glanced over. You realize that, right? Heaven Almighty. This just a lot of this just again just rather bad. It already not making any sense, like at all whatsoever. Of it, speaking of stuff that's being glanced over, I'm gonna bring up something that's real quick that this article does not bring up at all. The Spanish Empire. Yep, I'm bringing up this up again, and brought up quite a few times before. It became one of the largest empires in history, aside at the time, aside from the Ottoman Empire, just to name one of them. I guess you can say. I guess you can say became really strong, and of course they want to do a lot of conquering and a lot of murder, just because you guessed it, God said so. So yeah, they pretty much became at least they're really trying to have be rulers over a lot of places like the Philippines, one, even Mexico and Cuba, just to name a few. Again, of course, to enslave people because, of course, they believe that God told them to. Of course, a lot of the stuff that they did can be considered as something horrific or something terrible. But of course, we're not going to see any Christians talking about this kind of a thing because it's going to make religious people look bad. And it does. It does make them look bad, of course. But like I was saying, the Spanish Empire did a lot of terrible stuff, of course. And the thing is that people do have to understand that this is an unfortunate reality. It did happen, and it should not be forgotten. Even though it's terrible, you got to learn from their mistakes. Is what I'm getting at. But of course, it seems a lot of Christians don't want to do that. They don't want to learn from other people's mistakes that happened long ago. So what they're going to do is just make up lies, make out as if there's something hidden going on, and just attack Disney's animated films, which seems stupid, but okay, whatever. That makes no sense whatsoever, like at all. I keep saying that makes no sense. It should be my catchphrase here. I mean, really. But okay, let's go back to the article of them just just talking up all kinds of uh all kinds of shit about this this kind of thing. But the article specifies, oh, it's not the overly aggressive China that's seeking to dominance over the world. Uh, Of course not. I think it's awfully racist to assume that this article is trying to connect the coronavirus with this movie just because it had something to do with somewhere in Asia, specifically Southeast Asia or whatever. Talking about looking way too much into it. I mean, yes, there were the unfortunately black people attacking Asians, whether they're Chinese, Japanese, or whatever, because they felt like they were the Asians, specifically the Chinese, were attached to this somehow. Yeah, that's really xenophobic when you think about it. You know, Asian hate and all that. But apparently, according to this article, the message of the main character, her message is one of those of unity and tolerance, of trust and faith. I mean, okay, the film does attempt to be forgiveness, but the film does trip on its own 2 feet because the unfortunate reality is that not everybody can be trusted. That's the thing. Not me trying to sound pessimistic or anything, but that's the sad reality. Not everyone that you see can be trusted. Not everybody that comes off friendly can be trusted either. So, I'm not saying that there aren't any trustworthy people in the world. I'm just saying. But apparently, according to this article, you know, he's saying the film is trying to say is to have faith in humanity in troubled times. Yeah, like as if it's trying to ring a bell during the COVID time, hardship or whatever. But that's not what the movie's trying to do at all, whatsoever. I mean, the film does attempt to have a moral message, yes, but not the kind that this article is trying to claim. Some sort of a harmony with people and whatnot. I mean, yes, there was a backstory where the main characters told about how humans and dragons had actually got along in harmony or whatever. But then something happened, something tragic happened or whatever. But this hatred in this film had created smog-like creatures or whatever, and now there's some sort of big conflict, big war thing or whatever, and our main character must take care of said problem. Yeah, that's in there, yeah, but that doesn't mean that this movie is trying to connect the dots with COVID-19 and all that. That just comes off line itself. Yeah, these things that's smog or whatever these clouds or whatever you call them, acting violent or whatever. Yes, that's happening, sure. But this movie is trying to act as if there's some sort of metaphor going on here, even though that's not the case. I think there's like this crystal orb thing, this dragon gem that's being looked over. That's like an important part of the story, yeah. But somehow there's like a clue to something, of course, and something about sacrificing and whatnot, and you know bringing magic together to create a something special. And then about 500 years ago, the hatred among humans and their tribes reawoken this smog thing or whatever. And then the main character, who happens to be a princess, the father, his pride and joy, the daughter must do something. The father made her into this guardian of the dragon or something and whatnot. I must save her kingdom now, and that gem that's been broken and spread apart among the rival tribes or whatever. And yeah, again, this article, what I'm trying to get at is this article is really far fetching. I'm trying to use specific plot points in the film and replace it with a totally different context and acting as if there's some sort of connection to everything. But this has nothing to do with the COVID-19, the virus infection. This has nothing, zilch, absolutely nothing to do with that. Even though it takes place like somewhere in Asia, ancient Asia to be more precise, I guess. But where this main character must do what's right or whatever, trying to have faith in humanity. This article is making it as if there's some obvious allegory connections and whatnot, and these situations when there aren't any. off like a lunatic. This movie is not supposed to be taking anything as a reference, like a metaphor for the coronavirus. That's not what the movie's saying. I mean, yes, of course, we must stick together as human beings, regardless of where you came from, regardless of your skin color or whatnot. I mean, I do have problems with the movie. Sure, it's not exactly perfect by any means, but this movie's not saying that. So, like, I guess kind of places me in an awkward position that I'm defending this movie, and this article is saying that the symbols, the designs of casual clothing or whatever, symbols and like everything is supposed to be like a reference of what this individual's talking about, he or she or whatever. And I don't care about the gender of this individual who wrote this because either way, the person's projecting. Is not making a metaphor for the coronavirus like at all. The role of the traditional symbols is not trivial according to the article because they express some sort of profound trust and truth and turning upside down and has consequences apparently or whatever. But using symbols to talk about certain things in books or comics or whatever else that's aimed for kids, that's nothing new. There's plenty of kids material for the family that has done that multiple times before. I'm fine with that. As long as you make a good story out of it, of course. But if anything, bottom line, just before I end this video, it just comes off like this whoever wrote this article is projecting. I mean, yes, there's unfortunately lots of people out there who are trying to connect the coronavirus to Chinese people. Like this, all the Chinese people responsible for that, which yes, like I was saying earlier, is incredibly racist, which it is. It's not all their fault. So just things happen. Unfortunately, things shit just happens. This individual is trying to make it as if that this movie has a metaphor for the coronavirus and we must unite and fight against it. Where did you get that from? Just because the character has something to do with Asia? That's like your only evidence? What? Well, Southeast Asia to be exact, yeah. That's like the only evidence that this individual is using? How about jumping the gun? What? All right, folks. Let me just end this before I just want to ram my head against the wall because that's how stupid this is. I'm about reading way too much into it. I mean, I don't mind positive messages in kids' movies or whatever. I'm fine with that. I'm just pointing out this individual is reading way too much into it. Bring up last bit segment from earlier, I guess. Yeah, the segment where this article reference to another article that was written by a Chinese individual. I won't bring that up. That actually was on the last part of this article, so I'm just gonna read it off. I'm getting my own commentary, like I was doing anyway. So yeah, I was kind of going all over the place because this whole thing's poorly done anyway. And referring to the bit I was bringing up earlier in the video, speaks about the film's lesson about believing in yourself and concludes that the film could be a possible catalyst for being progressive. Okay. I still don't know what this had to do with the virus. I mean, yes, it killed a lot of people, and that's unfortunate, but okay. To embrace people's differences or whatever. And then the other segment here is that Screen Rant went further into an interview where the director and some other individuals had to say something about Joe Biden's speech when he became president or whatever. And the film is trying to make a statement about it and how it could be different and whatnot. Basically diversity. Who can you trust really and whatnot. Okay, I still don't know what's going on here. What's Joe Biden have to do with this? I don't have anything against him. He seems to be doing pretty decent so far. I mean, I don't agree on everything he has done, but he seems to be doing better than Trump. I'll say that. Okay. And what does it have to do with the movie though? Ugh, I should end this video already. This is almost 40 minutes. I do appreciate anybody for watching, folks. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate everybody for watching this video. I said multiple times already, folks, in this video and the other videos. Yeah, this movie is flawed. It's not exactly a perfect movie by any means. I mean, it has moments, I guess. The visuals are probably the best aspect of it, really. But I just thought this was Disney's way to caving in to a lot of pressure because a lot of these princess movies were deemed as sexist. At least the old Disney movies, anyway. Which, of course, is a lie. Yeah, talk about being projection here. Like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, and a lot of the other films were viewed as sexist, which is a lie. I feel like this was Disney's way to counter that criticism. But I've had to criticize Disney for anything that's stupid on their part. I mean, yeah, the old films are not sexist, despite what people say. But you can't find, you cannot fight against bigotry by playing right into its hands. Not that I'm saying Disney isn't doing anything, evil or anything. I'm just saying. Come on. Ugh. Oh, what the hell? None of this makes sense. Way too much into it. Anyway, whatever. I don't know anymore. Whatever. As always, thanks for watching, and take care, folks. I still got some movie reviews I want to do for my Disney-a-thon, so keep an eye on those, folks, alright? Later. I don't know anymore. Whatever. I don't know. Yada, yada, yada. Whatever. See ya. Ugh.